C-Cat, if the Tennessee Titans find the right head coach for this offense, for that quarterback, that franchise guy, Cam Ward is going to end up being a top 5 quarterback in the NFL. Cam Ward out of Miami, out of Wazoo, out of Incarnate Word. Cam Ward is the kind of guy that franchises build around. He's the kind of guy that, despite all of the turmoil through 6 weeks, the one thing everybody in and around Nissan Stadium can agree on is that he is the person, the spoon that stirs the pot. He's the guy that's going to help bridge us into the future, if that future is going to be a good one. And now it is on the decision makers in Tennessee to make sure that that guy has a head coach that is competent. When you look back at the past 5 number 1 overall picks at quarterback, this Cam Ward season might be bad, but it's not unprecedented. The past 5 number 1 overall picks at quarterback, all of their first-year head coaches, all of their head coaches got fired after their first year. 3 of the past number 1 overall pick quarterbacks, coaches got fired mid-season. Bryce Young, Trevor Lawrence with Urban Meyer. And last year, I don't know if you remember, Matt Eberflus starting off the season with a new haircut. And I think by December, he was going to a new barber in a new city.
Oh, yeah, we saw that Thanksgiving Day collapse and just downright disgusting display for the national audience.
That's 3 straight years that the number 1 overall pick has had his head coach fired midseason. And if you look at the careers of each of these guys, and then obviously, with Kyler Murray, his coach fired at the end of the year. If you look at the past 3 guys that I put the scope on right now, even throughout the misery of those first seasons, I don't think any of them have looked as good on tape, have ripped the level of NFL throws that Cam Ward has been able to do, and also has been as poised behind the microphone as Cam Ward. Bryce Young looked like he was ready to take leave the team and join a church. Like he looked like he was ready to quit on football. I'm not saying this as anything that is against Bryce. I'm saying this as he was that miserable in Carolina. Trevor Lawrence and the disorientation of that offense, along with what Urban Meyer was doing out there, he looked miserable, and people started questioning their own evaluations on the guy. Anybody that has had priors on Cam Ward saying that this guy is an elite level, or at least can become an elite level quarterback, C-Cat, I've seen none of them turn their backs on those point of views. All of them are saying, I think that the situation in Tennessee needs to change. That's promising.
Okay. All right. You know what? Like we were early with Caleb Williams last year.
Yeah.
When his head coach led that team into disarray and a disappointing first year of Caleb Williams' career, despite having so many offensive weapons around that number 1 overall pick. We're not saying that Cam Ward has all these weapons around him with the Titans.
No.
But we're saying Cam Ward is the weapon.
He's proven himself at so many different stops. He's used to change as well. Like a lot of people are slow to adapt. Cam went from college to college to college, now to the pros, and now he's already on his second head coach, who will be an interim. By the start of next season, we're likely talking about a guy that's going to have to learn his 3rd system within 1 calendar year. And if there's anybody that can do it, it's the guy like Cam Ward, who, by the way, I just listened, or I read the Athletics article on Cam Ward and what this rookie season has been like and what he expects to be able to accomplish as he gets his wits about him in the league. And C-Cat, there's a sentence in this article, by the way, written by Michael Silver, published yesterday evening, that gave me the chills. Cam Ward, after all of this, Calvin really dropping the ball left and right. The offensive line allowing him to be sacked 8 times. That is the second most in the league right now. Turnover after turnover after turnover. Cam Ward said, I'm not playing how I want to play right now. So once I play how I want to play, I think the league will be. He's saying, no. It's not that I'm going to turn my career around. It's not that I'm going to make the Titans competent. We're not going to be competitive for the division. When I start playing the level of football I want to, and in the style in which I want to, Cam Ward would like to, the league is. C-Cat, that is bold.
Some out of luck.
That is bold. Yeah. Is that
You're in trouble now, mister.
that's a bold thing for him to say. But what I will say, though, if you're Cam Ward and you've been able to back it up at every stop in your life so far, I know he's only 23. I know he is now playing professional football, which is a different level. And you have to carry a different level of humility. And you also have to prove yourself here. I have to believe him. I legitimately have to believe him. If he gets himself, and again, we're looking at the past few quarterbacks who have been in this situation, a Liam Cohen, Trevor Lawrence, and the Jags finally cooking. What changed? The chef. How about with Caleb Williams? Same scenarios this year. Coach fired midseason. In fact, I credit the Titans for firing Brian Callahan earlier than how long the Bears hold on. And again, the Bears started the season much better, so I understand keeping Eberflus. It looked like it could be solid. But now look at Caleb Williams when he has Ben Johnson. Like the Bears and the Jaguars look like playoff teams right now, and it's once they got the right guy under the right headset. Cam Ward's not going to just have a team looking like a playoff squad. He will be a top 5 quarterback in the NFL once they get that position right. And I'm talking about head coach. I look at Patrick Mahomes. I look at Lamar Jackson. I look at Josh Allen. And likely it's going to be Jaden Daniels over the next 2 years. We're looking at as the top 4 quarterbacks in the league. Why not Cam Ward right there under those 4? I don't think at this point it's going to be C.J. Stroud. A lot of people are trying to predict it be Drake May. In fact, we're going to have Evan Cohen from Unsportsmanlike here join us on the other side. He always joins us on Wednesdays. In fact, this is the Evan Cohen Studios. He likely is going to want to go with Drake May because he's a Patriots fan. But is there anybody else in the league right now, CCAT, when you think about those core 4 that you would say you would put right up there with them? And I know I'm leaving out that guy with the Cincinnati Bengals, but I'm starting to be a lot more out on Joe Burrow than people are in on him. And a lot of that has to do with the weapons he's been gifted with since he's entered the league and also his inability to stay healthy. Who am I forgetting about that can elevate to top 5 status like I believe Cam Ward will?
Well, elevate the top 5 status or still hanging on and will drop out of top 5 status because right now Matt Stafford's playing some pretty good football.
He won't be around in like 2 years. I'm talking about like even if the Titans do figure out head coach, it won't start until next year and it still will be a learning curve. I'm not talking – it's not happening overnight. So Stafford's going to be gone.
Justin Herbert.
Herbert will be in the conversation.
Yeah, I think that what he's put on tape throughout his career so far is now equating to wins and losses in a good way, positive way, because like you've been talking about, finally got that right man under the headset with Jim Harbaugh at head coach.
Now, he's got to do it, though. We can't still continue to just gift him rankings because we like his tape. He still has to do it, and Cam Ward has a long way to go as well. I'm not gifting him anything either. I'm predicting he gets to that level, and Justin Herbert has had many chances so far. I still want to see it. Who else, when it comes to young quarterbacks in this league, do you put in that space?
Well, you were throwing the word young in there. I'm still clinging to the old guys.
Give me some old guys then. Kyler Murray,
Dak Prescott.
Dak Prescott is a solid one. That dude's been carving them up.
Yeah, he's kind of had the Joe Burrow situation of last year, where his defense is so bad that these passing numbers are going to be ridiculous, and he might lead the league in a lot of those critical passing statistics that are based on necessity and not necessarily prowess.
I think Cam Ward could be better. Especially you give that dude some talent in the draft this upcoming year. You get a guy like Jordan Tyson out of Arizona State. Like there's guys, Carnell Tate out of Ohio State. You give him more on the outside, especially some that are younger with more burst than what Calvin Ridley has. Defenses will fear that Titans offense in a way in which I don't think defenses feel the same way about some of the other guys you're naming right now.
Baker Mayfield
is undoubtedly right now in the top 5. He's a top 5 quarterback right now.
Yeah, he's playing top 5 quarterback football this season.
It's crazy. He's